All right, well, we have a series. Milwaukee takes Game 3 against the Pacers 117-101, and the Pacers now have a 2-1 series lead in a game that was a tale of two halves. The Pacers had a 10-point lead at halftime, and then the Bucks flipped the script in the second half, going on to nearly outscore the Pacers by 30 in that second half en route to that 117-101 win. Giannis Antetokounmpo and Gary Trent Jr. combining for 74 points as the Bucks will look to notch this thing back up on Sunday. We caught up with the Pacers after the game about their thoughts on their loss.
They play with a lot of force, play with a lot of determination. We made some early defensive mistakes in the second half. Where we did some things that we weren't supposed to be doing. We gave up a couple of threes. Momentum got going, and they got rolling. And when we're unable to get stops, it's hard to get the ball out and go and play the way we want to play. So we were bad on both sides of the ball. They were great. We were bad. We made mistakes and had problems defensively, and offensively, ball needed to move more.
Your rotation was drastically different first two games to this one. What went into your thinking and changing some of the stuff you did?
Just coaching decisions.
Getting out of doubles to guard Gary Trent, did you see any breakdowns there, and what specifically you guys need to do better to contain him in the next game?
We'll look at it. But a couple of them were situations where we maybe went and double teamed when we shouldn't have, didn't need to. And look, they were moving the ball, creating problems. So you got to give them a lot of credit.
You guys were deep in against the shot clock, a lot of possessions. Was there something about your offensive rhythm that wasn't clicking tonight?
Too much holding the ball, not enough moving it. We'll have to look at it, but our paint rate in the first half was much better than the second. I mean, I think that's probably an obvious statement, but we'll look at it, and we'll get better for Sunday.
They're obviously 4 of 23 in the first half. And did you feel like you were defending some of those well, or did you feel like there were?
What are you talking about?
They were 4 of 23 in the first half from three. Did you guys feel like you were defending those well, or did you see some of the same mistakes that you were just fortunate enough for those shots not to go in?
Some were defended well. Some they simply missed. We missed some too. And so you'll have to look at it. I don't have an accurate ratio sitting here. I haven't looked at anything yet. But it's a game can turn very quickly in the playoffs, and in the third quarter, some mistakes at both ends at the wrong time ignited their run, and we got to eliminate those.
What brought just Ben Shepherd back to mind for you in terms of just wanting to add him to the rotation? What did you like and not like from what you got back from him tonight?
Time to get him involved. Did some really good things in the first half. Drew had 2 fouls. Lillard was out there, gives us another guy to chase Lillard around a little bit. And look, we need all hands on deck. We need everybody, and guys are going to have to be able to come in and possibly play short minutes from time to time to help us with the matchup, to help us with rebounding, to help us with spacing, you name it. So Shep's, he's always been ready, and it was good. It was good to see him jump out there and have a good run, particularly in the first half.
Rick, how atmospheres like this, how important, other teams feel the same way when they go to Gainbridge, but how important is it to not let these run, to get these fans involved?
It's very important. And I can't give you an exact blow-by-blow as to what led to it, but they picked up their intensity and their force in the second half, and we obviously needed to be a lot better in those areas.
Yeah, we get enough stops. They obviously scored 39 points. That's probably the most they've scored in a quarter in the series, I would assume. We didn't get enough stops, allow us to play in transition, where we're at our best. And then I thought our half-court offense got a little stagnant. We were playing on our heels a little bit, and that starts with me. And we just got to do a better job of getting downhill, from the jump. So I got to be better there. And yeah, I don't see that happening again. But that third quarter really came back to bite us.
You just touched on a lot of this, but you guys were late in the clock a lot on
Yeah.
offense in that half. Was that a pace thing? What to you was causing that?
No, I wouldn't quite say that. I just felt like we were maybe on our heels a little bit. I felt like that's where we're at our worst offensively, and I think maybe not maybe, but that definitely played a part in it. We got to do a better job of getting downhill, playing faster, and that starts with me. I got to be better. I'll be better in Game 4.
Trent was hitting everything. Was there? You guys lose him too many times coming out of those doubles? Was it just a hot night? What did you diagnose with that?
Yeah, I mean, he had a hell of a game. We got to do a better job of rotating. I got to do a better job of staying down on shot fakes. Grounded contest, second jumper contest. So it starts with me. That's my matchup to start the game. So I got to be better, but we're rotating, and I thought we had a couple miscommunications that led to some open ones, and he got hot. So, we got to do a better job in Game 4.
Just to go back to what you said about just playing on your heels, it seemed like, especially in the first quarter, you were really attacking back off and made baskets a lot and seemed like you had some success on that. Was there anything they did different to make that harder? I mean, did they clog the lane anymore or just do anything that made it tougher for you guys to get downhill? Then it seemed like you had some success doing that in the first.
Nah, I wouldn't say that. I felt like we just, I felt like it was more us than anything, being process oriented and looking at it. I felt like we just got to do a better job of getting downhill, and staying aggressive. And I think anytime you can, get to the paint and they rotate, we like our chances. I thought we got a lot of good looks in the first half that just didn't drop for us. I think you look at it process-wise, I feel like we got a lot of good looks that just didn't fall, and that theme kind of carried throughout the rest of the game. So we got to do a better job in Game 4, but we'll watch the film and see where we can get better.
How much does Giannis's presence change things when you're trying to get downhill? And obviously, it seems like you're going off the rim and finishing when he's not there, and maybe seeing that just for sensible, obviously, reasons, kind of passing out and moving along. How much does he kind of change the math? I guess
Yeah, I mean, does a great job of roaming. Great rim protector, so being cognizant of that. But I still got to be more aggressive. I feel like I probably passed out of too many tonight. Floaters and stuff like that. So. Obviously that's kind of what he does, especially with Brook out when Brook's not in. Giannis is that rim protector presence. So, I think he kind of just flies in from different places and just trying to, be aware of where he is and just try to make the right play.
Yeah, I thought they had more physicality than us. They played a lot harder than we did. Obviously, they made a lot of shots, a lot of threes. I mean, I think Gary had 9 threes. It's a lot. Yeah, they upped their physicality, and we just weren't there.
I think you said after Game 1 you wanted to defend shooters better as a team, and then tonight, obviously, the second half happens.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's been so challenging for you guys, especially considering the way you're defending Giannis in these games?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be in rotation. We got to rotate better. We got to get there.
Offensively, second half issues felt like into your offense early. What did you see there, and why do you feel like you guys still want to get flowing?
Yeah, we didn't get enough stops to run and play our game. And yeah, we just didn't have that juice to just continue to play the way we play.
Just wanted to go back to the rotation thing. Is it just a matter of guys not seeing the next pass? I mean, what's leading to guys not getting there fast enough, for the closeouts?
We're going to find out. We watch film. Yeah, once we watch film, we'll find out.
Rick just talked about not seeing enough ball movement in the second half, and Tyrese was also just talking about, not necessarily getting pace just because you were, taking the ball out of the net. What did you kind of see just break down what led to just more standing?
We got to be better. We got to move a lot better, collectively, get the ball moving and just be us. Like, we got to be us. And I think it's hard when they score. We got to get the ball off the basket, like off the net. And they had more physicality than us. Like, we can't have that happen.
Is there anything they did better on? You guys had some success on kind of attack backs off and made back buckets in the first quarter. Did they do anything different to kind of take that away from you and make that?
On what you said? Sorry.
It seemed like you guys were able to attack back off and made baskets in the first quarter and have some success there. Did they do anything different, like after a made bucket, that made it harder for you guys?
I don't know overall, but I think, like I said, I thought their level of physicality and intensity was higher than ours. And mostly, like, once you do that, that team has a higher chance of winning.
What was your reaction? I mean, when you have Trent kind of just pouring him in left and right throughout the game and just getting the crowd going in that second half too, what was just the reaction of watching that all unfold and then just not being able to?
I don't know. Yeah, it's just, they made shots and we gotta play better.
Pascal, since this group has been together for a while, you've experienced playoff losses together. Do you think that's helpful in a situation like this, knowing that these losses are more important than regular season, but you've seen you guys bounce back?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously that happens. All the games are different, and we approach every single game differently. And tonight they got to win. We got to go back, learn from it, and come back and do better as a team. And I thought, obviously the experience that we have might help. I don't know, but I guess we'll find out. But I just think that having that disposition of just knowing the stuff that we didn't do well and try to correct them the next game.
All right, so Game 4 is scheduled for a 9:30 tip-off on Sunday. And when we come back from the break, Tony East from Locked On Pacers will be joining us to break down more of the Pacers' loss to the Bucks. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Joined now with Tony East from Locked On Pacers. And Tony, we kind of went through a little bit of a breakdown before the break of how everything sort of unfolded. The tale of two halves here, man. I mean, the Pacers looking good in that first half, second half. The Bucks just went scorched earth and pretty much took this game over. What were your thoughts?
I wondered how the second half would turn in this game because both teams had to feel okay about being in it after a terrible shooting first half. And it was the Bucks who kept playing their game and finally got those shots to fall in the second half. Gary Trent, of course, tying a Bucks franchise record with Ray Allen. You're in sentence with Ray Allen. You're going to feel good about your night with 9 threes. The Pacers just kept losing him, double teaming other players. And once the Bucks score, it's harder for the Pacers to get into their offense. That snowball just really killed them in the third quarter.
Yeah, and then once you get this crowd behind you as well, that's also kind of a dangerous thing that you're playing with now. So here we are. The Pacers still hold that 2-1 series lead. They're professionals. They're going to rebound. They're going to look at some of the big issues that they had in this one. But what do you want to see them really tweak and improve on for Game 4 Sunday?
They've got up their tempo on the offensive end. I was asking a lot of people and players about this after the game, but every possession you'd look up, there's 8 seconds left on the shot clock. They're still looking for a good look. And in the first couple games, they were already creating an advantage by that point or had something that they could go to. It didn't feel like they had that today, and that really held them back from getting any sort of offensive flow. Some heroic shots certainly kept the game close for a while, but as soon as their rhythm is gone, I mean, that's what they are as a team. They're an offensive team. They couldn't score. They couldn't keep up, and the Bucks just ran away with it. Getting into their sets faster, getting more stops they can run in transition where they're at their best, I think will go a long way for them in Game 4.
And then I think when you look at the final stat sheet, too, you mentioned Gary Trent and what he was able to do. So him and Giannis combining for 74 points in this game. You say you cut half of Gary Trent's points in half. He averages, 12 a year, I believe. Do the Pacers look at that and think, well, he just had a hot night and there's not much that we could have done about it? Is there?
I think that's somewhat true. Certainly there were a lot of possessions where they were doubling Giannis and were way too slow rotating out to him, as they mentioned post-game in their press conferences. But they've had a player every game light them up because of their defense, getting out to shooters. A.J. Green hit 5 in Game 1. Bobby Portis, I believe, hit 6 in the last one. Gary Trent with 9 tonight. The Bucks are a good shooting team. They led the league in three-point percentage.
Right.
They're going to generate those shots, but that's why after even the first game, when the Bucks had an off night, Pascal Siakam said, we've got to be better getting out to their shooters, and it hasn't really happened tonight. It finally caught up to them. So on one hand, Gary Trent's not going to be Ray Allen again. On the other hand, the Pacers have to find a way to be better against these shooters, and when you're guarding Giannis the way they are, that's a tough thing to do, but it's the playoffs. You got to figure out how.
You've been covering this team as close as anyone that's been around here. When you get to this point where you have the Bucks against the wall, backs against the wall, you had a chance to really do something special here, going up 3-0. I believe an NBA team hasn't come back from 3-0 deficit in playoff history. So now that we do have an interesting series, does Sunday make it a little more anxious for those guys to make sure this thing doesn't get knotted back up?
Yeah, last year Game 4 was in Indy, and it was a 2-1 Pacers lead, so they had a little more confidence being at home. When you're the team coming off a loss, it just feels so much different.
Yeah.
With you have to be the ones responding, you have to adjust, and they didn't have that reality last year. They didn't lose a Game 3 until the conference finals last year, so this is a new reality for them to figure out, and they were a good adjusting team and responding team last season. On one hand, I think there should be trust that they will figure out some solutions, but you were here. I mean, the crowd tonight was awesome, and the Bucks played very well. So this is going to be a tough challenge for them to try to come back home up 3-1 because, they've played great at home. Tyrese Halliburton's never lost a home playoff game, but they have Giannis Antetokounmpo. You've got to try to win when you can, and this one wasn't close. They needed to be closer. They need to be much better in Game 4. All
right, Game 4 is going to be a late one. We're going to be here just perched up right in that little corner back there. Maybe it's somewhere over this way. We're getting a little bit turned around. But, Tony, appreciate it as always. Thank you, and we'll see you on Sunday, where tip-off is scheduled for, again, 9:30 as the Pacers look to maybe avoid 2-2 series time. So appreciate it.